Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a fantastic live stream. There's so much to talk about. And I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. Today was pretty amazing. It's almost kind of breathtaking or overwhelming to think about. Hello, Eric H526. It's kind of, hello, everyone. Melanie Berger. Hello, Awake Canadian. Hello, everyone. It's kind of overwhelming to think about everything that took place today. You have a situation where they threw every single thing they had at Troy Balderson in Ohio. And Democrats were saying, well, this is a really great thing, Look how close Danny O'Connor was. Well, Danny O'Connor had every single news outlet. And even though Balderson won, there are still provisional ballots. He's up by like close to 2,000. He's not going to lose. If he loses, everyone's going to ask, did Democrats cheat? Wingless Angel, hello. Hello, everyone. And you have a situation where not only is Tony Podesta now under criminal investigation, federal criminal investigation, not only is Tony Podesta under federal criminal investigation, but you have a situation where all of this is finally kind of coming to a certain conclusion. The conclusion being that eventually we're going to get Hillary Clinton charged with the crime. Eventually, because there's too many crimes. Comey stated she committed those crimes. She had top secret and special access program intelligence on a server in her basement. But just one second. But now you have today, not only the Balderson win, not only did Democrats lose 8 out of 11 special elections, 8 out of 11, you now have the issue of Julian Assange hopefully testifying, hopefully, to the Senate Intel Committee. Once that takes place, it's like game over. I mean, really, it's just game over. And instead of blue wave, it's blue cave. But thank you, everyone. Thank you to my super chat. Give me every incentive to rock these live streams. And so today was a really, really important day for many reasons. But let's just go. First, we'll start off with the first discussion, which is Donald Trump's attorneys and Robert Mueller still at impasse over president's testimony. So they don't have any, they haven't accused Trump of a specific crime. So Hillary Clinton actually transferred top secret and special access program intelligence. They weren't suspicious about that. This is all being fueled by suspicion. All of this is suspicion. All of this is questioning. Oh my God, there has to be something wrong there. There has to be something wrong. There's no way that Trump isn't guilty. Well, look at the Trump Jr. meeting. He did work with Russia. Well, Natalia Veselnitskaya has ties to the Kremlin. Then why did she meet before and after with Fusion GPS? Why did she meet? Why was she allowed into the country by Obama's DOJ on a special visa? I love the whole, he's, Trump Jr. met with a foreign power. This foreign power. And it's like, well, what foreign power? What foreign power exactly did he meet with? A Russian lawyer is not a foreign power. Just like a lawyer from any country doesn't represent their country's president or prime minister or king or whatever. So it's like the DNC never gave its servers to anyone in the US government and then told the US government, oh my God, this is national security. Then when Jared Beck, Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House sue the DNC in the DNC fraud lawsuit, which Bernie Sanders did not bring up, just like Bernie Sanders never defended his voters, just like, well, he didn't defend his voters and now his movement is like completely destroyed. That and the fact that they, picked one, possibly two policy objectives. The only thing they talk about is Medicare for all. That's what people hear. And it's not something that will unite, that would get votes from conservatives or even really a lot of independents. Because independents will ask, well, how do you pay for it? And then the rebuttal will be, well, you slash the budget, the defense budget, or you tax wealthy Americans. Okay. Still not going to pay for it. Well, you have to go ahead and actually bring home soldiers from wars because these are ongoing affairs. And the costs from wars, when a soldier comes home, whether it's the VA or we have yet to really accurately take into account the true cost of war because we've yet to appropriately give all the veterans and soldiers everything they deserve and need. In addition to the fact that you have soldiers in counterinsurgency wars, and there's always a push for sending more soldiers or keeping them there longer. You have to bring home Americans from war. Bring them home. That's what progressives should say. Bring home American soldiers from Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, bring them home. But progressives don't say that. Let's just slash the budget, and that's it. Not bring home soldiers because that would anger Nancy Pelosi. Why would they want to do that? They certainly don't want to anger anyone. So at the end of the day, you have a situation where Trump didn't commit a crime, yet he's being interviewed about something that they can't even decide took place. They can't even state with certainty took place. Lum, we are cattle at the VA. Just went yesterday. Lum, thank you so much for your service to this country. I didn't know you were a veteran or a soldier, and thank you so much, Lum. Thank you. So I mean, that's that's the issue here. The issue is what happened to a unifying message? If you're on the left, what happens to? Thank you, Lum, again. Thank you. What happens to a unifying message of bring home our soldiers? Bring them home. We're going to pay $7 trillion in interest by 2053 from Iraq and Afghanistan. So that's something you can't go ahead and implement things that you want if you then continue the same military endeavors. So hold on, I believe it's 6.9 trillion 2053 interest Iraq Afghanistan. So let me go ahead. I believe it's there's a Brown University. Where's the Brown University? Okay, so yeah. U.S. spending. This is Brown University Watson Institute cost of war. U.S. spending on Middle Eastern wars reached 4.9 trillion in 2017. From the wars from Bush, Obama, and now Trump, But 8 years of Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, did not make things better. They made things worse. We're going to pay $7.9 trillion. Interest, not principal. The interest on funds to pay for these wars. So let me go ahead right here. One reason I like Trump better than Clinton is because he's less inclined, less militant, less inclined to engage in regime change. And so here's the article. So I get it. I don't want, believe me, I spoke out against the censorship. I get it. I've already spoken out. I think it's horrible. You can't censor and ban anyone. Okay. But at the same time, it's not at the same time, but just go long term, go long game. That's all I'm saying. Go long game. And I've explained that before. Let's try it again. So Watson Institute. So so 2053, $7.9 trillion in interest. In interest. And so would it hurt Bernie Sanders to say bring home our soldiers? Or, and the one group that's actually, I think, alluding to that, I think saying that is the Green Party. But actually, it's sad because nobody is actually. Nobody's saying bring home our soldiers. Hey, sorry. Vance. Thank you, Vance. Q already said Julian Assange safe. You really think Trump would let them do anything? Vance, I'm not really a fan of Q, to tell you the truth. So Vance, I think Q is dangerous because the thing is, Julian Assange is not safe. His mother, Miss Christine Assange, has stated numerous times that, please don't believe anything you hear. But Vance, thank you so very much. I think that Trump would not want to do anything. I'm thankful that the Senate has reached out to Julian Assange, and hopefully he can go ahead and I'm reading the live chat. All right, so I think that it's very dangerous to say that Julian Assange is safe when he's literally fighting for his life. So, hello, Azande X. So, and I agree with you. I hope that he doesn't. I don't think that Trump wants to do anything like extradite Assange, but he has to play ball with his intelligence community. Luckily, I believe that Assange will win his freedom either in the UK or in UK custody. I hope that he's never arrested, but if he's in UK custody, I believe he'll win his freedom because there's too much that the United Kingdom has to defend in order to extradite Julian Assange. So with that, I mean, in that respect, I don't think that I'm hoping, and I don't see Julian Assange being extradited. I think that Trump would lose. I do agree with you on that. But this is really important. U.S. spending on Middle Eastern wars, Homeland Security reached $4.79 trillion in 2017, with $7.9 trillion in interest by 2053. There's a whole bunch of costs included in the war that we don't budget. For example, the future costs for veterans, unintended consequences, all of these things. The fact that we have to build up the militaries in Afghanistan, Iraq, other places. Then you have the issue. I mean, not only did you have Tony Podesta is now under federal criminal investigation, like I wrote he would be in a 2017 Daily Caller article. Now you have the issue of Dianne Feinstein, who had a driver, a longtime assistant or a staffer, or like a person close to her, who was a Chinese spy, a spy for China. This is Paul Sperry. Feinstein has insinuated that Trump is compromised by a foreign power, but it's clear Feinstein has an alarming blind spot when it comes to China and national security. Feinstein may be one actually compromised by a foreign adversary. I don't know if she's compromised, but she definitely had somebody there for close to 2 decades, apparently. 2 decades, 20 years, ladies and gentlemen. 20 years, who was a spy. So, how did I get on that long tangent? I don't know. I usually do. Donald Trump's attorney and Robert Mueller are still at an impasse over president's testimony. So, you have a situation. Attorneys for President Donald Trump and special counsel Robert Mueller remained in an impasse Wednesday over Trump's possible testimony and said they hope to have the matter resolved one way or another by September 1st. In rejecting ground rules proposed by Mueller, that's funny. Mueller does not even have a crime that he's investigating. This is an investigation without a crime. Clinton committed many crimes. There's an ongoing FBI criminal investigation right now regarding a Clinton Foundation. There's also a DOJ email probe regarding the handling of emails. There might not be an FBI email probe anymore. There's a DOJ email probe. I've been talking about this since January, since it came out. She committed crimes. She used a server outside the U.S. government and transferred somehow top secret and special access program intelligence. Very difficult to do. She managed to do it. That's a crime. Trump did not commit a crime, yet they're investigating Trump and they want him to interview. Hillary didn't even get an interview with the special counsel. She got an interview with her chosen FBI agent in Peter Strzok. In rejecting ground rules proposed by Mueller, Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani repeated his calls for Mueller to wrap up his investigation because he says the special counsel has the answers he needs. They're trying to get him on this ridiculous obstruction of justice, but the IG himself, Horowitz, stated that Comey breached protocol numerous times. He should have been fired. Rod Rosenstein wrote the justification for Comey's firing, which was that one of the big reasons that he should never have exonerated Clinton. That was not his job. It was Loretta Lynch's job. Then he said during the IG, well, Loretta Lynch was compromised somehow. He didn't trust Loretta Lynch's judgment. It's not his decision to trust or not trust. It wasn't even his decision. It wasn't his right to do so. So you have a situation here where it's just a whole bunch of, there's so many things happening at once. Another Trump attorney, Jay Sekulow, said the legal team responded in writing to Mueller's latest proposal, and it is not appropriate this time to comment publicly about the content of that response. This should be over by September 1st, Giuliani said. We have now given him an answer. He obviously should take a few days to consider it, but we should get this resolved. What exactly does Mueller want? What does Mueller want? What is there to be gained from speaking to Trump? Did you work with any Russian hackers? No. The next question if Mueller asks that question, Giuliani should say, do you have any evidence that Trump worked with Russian hackers? Then why are you asking? And can you imagine Hillary still has her security clearance, which is almost certainly a trap? And let's go ahead. We'll listen to Giuliani. Vance, DF is 100% compromised. Thank you, Vance. Thank you. So this is Giuliani. Check this out.
I've never been involved in an investigation on either side that's more illegitimate than this one, that is so obviously more illegitimate. And I wonder, where's the sense of justice on the part of Mueller, on the part of the Justice Department? After all, the Justice Department, this is a Justice Department investigation. He's working for Rosenstein. And at some point, you got to say the irregularities, the unethical conduct, double standard, the way in which people who hate Trump were put into primary positions of power has completely tainted this investigation.
So it doesn't, like, at the end of the day, I keep saying, like, it doesn't win. Mark Johnson. Alexander Downer's daughter lost the Australian election. Thank God. Mark Johnson. Thank God indeed. Let me see this, Alexander. Thank you. Thank you, Mark Johnson. So Alexander Downer, you have, I mean, it's just unbelievable. He has this alleged meeting with, or this, getting drunk with George Papadopoulos. And it's like, that is not a reason to investigate. Then they're like, well, look at all these indictments. It has nothing to do with anything. Challenger to take on Downer for Mayo endorsement. So let's go ahead and let's listen to this again.
I've never been involved in an investigation on either side that's more illegitimate than this one, that is so obviously more illegitimate. And I wonder, where's the sense of justice on the part of Mueller, on the part of the Justice Department? After all, the Justice Department, this is a Justice Department investigation. He's working for Rosenstein. And at some point, you got to say the irregularities, the unethical conduct, double standard, the way in which people who hate Trump were put into primary positions of power has completely tainted this investigation.
So everyone knows what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like, how like when you and I, we meet up and we have these live chats and there's 500 people now. There was over 1,000 earlier today. We meet up, we have these live chats, and But Alexander, you have to understand. I'm gonna Alexander M. Gonzalez made a very, very interesting observation. You have to understand, Alexander. When I was on the left, they hated me. They hated me because the thing is, at the end of the day, most people on the left, most people, I don't say all, most people don't want to do anything that would help Trump over the Democratic Party. They're afraid to attack the Democratic Party, even Bernie. The only way for the left to ever rebound, if it ever is going to rebound, is to say, you know what? I'd rather risk Trump winning or Cruz winning or whatever than do whatever it is the Democratic Party wants me to do. It's the only way. And I even put Bernie in that. Wasn't George Papadopoulos the dad on what? Bruce Tomaszewski. Dylan, thank you so much. Thank you so very much. You know, I mean, that's the thing also. It's like there's a certain group of people, ladies and gentlemen. I noticed that there is a difference between conservatives and Democrats. Democrats will believe conspiracy theories if it's sanctioned by the CIA. Conservatives will believe conspiracy theories or whatever if they're longing for the truth amid, a sea of, oh, I use the server for convenience, golf, Brexit, and grandchildren. Oh, Clinton's going to win Texas, all of these things. But I noticed that conservatives, if Donald Trump, for example, said, I'm going to go ahead and, I don't know, cheat Rand Paul. Let's say I don't know, something happened and Rand Paul was running again for Senate and Donald Trump cheated him. Well, a huge portion of his base would just leave. Or did something to, engaged in another war, like Libya. A huge portion of the 60 million plus voters who voted for Trump wouldn't vote for him. Not the same with Democrats. Democrats, you could do anything. There are certain people like Rand Paul, for example, is principled, not perfect, but he's principled. He's principled when it comes to civil liberties. He's principled when it comes to calling out the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, all of these things. Ron Paul's principled when it comes to foreign wars, bringing our soldiers back home. Now, if Trump, there's a lot of people who would vote for Rand Paul, but are voting for President Trump in 2020. But if Trump did something that was the antithesis of what he, stated, like, for example, he engaged in a regime change, nobody would vote for him. That's what Democrats don't get. Conservatives are actually less part of a cult. They're less likely to act in a cult-like manner than Democrats. Democrats will do anything as long as they're told it ensures their opponents will lose. Anything. They'll vote for a cheater. They'll blame Russia. They don't care. They think politics is just throwing as much mud as possible. Hi, Paul Lawrence. They think politics is just throw as much mud as possible. And that's it. It's just throw as much mud, throw as much, maybe I will start. Maybe I'll get a Make America Great Again hat. I don't know. Maybe just to go ahead and clown the people who already hate me. I don't know. But that's the thing. I mean, there is a difference. There's a difference in voters. There's a difference in mentality. The left thinks that it's so exalted and and super intelligent. It's really not the case. And then you have a Politico article, and it just goes like, and then you have Bruce. We'll get to Bruce Orr in a little bit, but you have a Politico article, and this is exactly what took place. This is Politico, ladies and gentlemen. This is they're tearing their. If I had hair, I'd be pretending I'm them. They're tearing their hair out. They're miserable in terms of frustration and anger and anguish because Ohio was lost yesterday. They lost Ohio. And then they're spinning it now. So Troy Balderson won. But they're spinning and they're saying, oh, well, Danny O'Connor got close. He got close because there's absolute, complete media collusion against Trump. And when it was too close to call with Connor Lamb, all you heard was, oh my God, Connor Lamb won. Connor Lamb won. Now you see like a picture of Danny O'Connor like this, and Ohio race just got closer. Oh, there's hundreds of uncounted votes. Isn't that funny? How did that happen? Wow, what a coinky dink. Democrats learned after 2000 with Bush and after the Bush administration during the lead up to Iraq and the Iraq war that anything goes. It's just a matter of how corrupt you are. But see, a little bit different. You had the Supreme Court weigh in on it in 2000. The Iraq war was a response from a national level. Mark Johnson, real video, can't be censored and is run by David Knight from InfoWars. P.S. Australia is slowly waking up to corrupt MSM and politicians. Real.video. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark Johnson. Thank you. But Bernie and his army are losing 2018. So before we get to, and it ties in, I know I kind of go on all these like meandering tangents, but this ties into the Mueller meeting. Okay, Trump's not going to meet with Mueller. He's not going to, it's as stupid as fine. Throw 30 minutes into this and finally get to what I wanted to get. He's not going to meet with Mueller, okay? He's not going to meet with Mueller. If Trump, now I respect President Trump a lot, and I say this with all due respect. Trump will make the biggest it'll be a bigger political catastrophe than Clinton losing the election. He will make the biggest political blunder of all time if he meets with Mueller. He must never meet with Mueller, ever, ever. I don't care. Stop trying to appease insane, pathetic, sick, sad, miserable people. Democrats. Stop trying to appease the lunatic fringe in politics. Democrats. Don't appease, but don't say, well, if he meets with, there's a Mort Saul joke. Mort Saul is like old school comic, great comic. I could tell you the joke, but it's not YouTube policy, so I won't. Mort Saul is one of the great comedians of all time. One of the great comedians, but great political comedians also, like George Carlin. George Carlin is the best political comedian of all time, I think. He must never meet with him. He must never meet with Mueller. And I've been told that people within the Trump administration watch this channel or whatever. It really doesn't matter. But if you're watching, don't meet with Mueller ever, 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 ever. Ever. Because the thing is, you meet with Mueller, you are going into a trap. And it's all he wants to do is indict Trump. He doesn't have a crime. There's no crime. So Trump has nothing to do with Russian hacking. He did not pay anyone to hack the DNC, which never happened. He never did anything. People around him are being indicted for things that have nothing to do with Russian hacking. And it's a perjury trap. I agree, Morgan. It's a perjury trap, but also there's no good that can come of it, because what will take place is they'll say, you met, and now there's even more questions. We have to go ahead. There's more questions. There's more questions. We have to, oh my God, this is a bombshell. This is a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough. Mueller found out, well, obstruction of justice. Well, what were you thinking? This is crazy. They gave him a list of questions. They gave him a list of questions that he was asking. A list of questions, ladies and gentlemen. And in the list of questions, it was like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? What were you thinking when you fired Comey? What were you thinking when you fired Comey? Why did you fire Comey? Did it have anything to do with the fact that he was right on your tail regarding Russia? Comey used a Steele dossier purchased by Hillary Clinton that was given to him by Bruce Orr, and Nellie Orr was a whole part of it. Then you have Fusion GPS, Glenn Simpson paid for by the DNC with money funneled from Bernie Sanders voters. Okay, the whole thing. FISA warrants and judges were not given exculpatory evidence. Evidence should have cleared Carter Page of any even suspicion. All of it was a complete setup. You have Peter Strzok, who said that there's an insurance policy, you have to stop Trump, all of these things. The whole thing was a setup. The whole thing was fabricated. The entire thing was fabricated. It was complete and utter nonsense. So you're going to go ahead and have a video, an interview on something that's complete and utter nonsense. For what? For what? And at the end of the day, I mean, it's just, so what do we have? It just come full circle. Bernie got cheated. Then they said that Russia informed us Bernie was cheated, which is a threat to national security. How they spin all of these things. And they're embarrassing emails. Don't you know they were embarrassing? Really? Did anyone pass gas, or, I don't know what was embarrassing about it? Oh, it was embarrassing. Well, what you mean, like that he was cheated and $200 million was stolen from voters? The other day, a buddy of mine said to me, "Oh, you'll never get over that, huh?" Craig Bevan, thank you. Deep state or double government, fourth military neutral branch of U.S. government added to Madisonian Republic in 1947. The Ghost, reference The Ghost, The Secret Life of CIA Spy Master James Jesus Angleton by Jeffrey Morley. Thank you, Craig Bevan. Thank you, Craig Bevan. Thank you, Craig Bevan, very much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Craig Bevan. Yeah, the thing is, they're like, the other day, like, oh yeah, you believe in my buddy was saying, you believe in the deep state, huh? Like, okay. Thank you again, Craig Bevan. The deep state, by the way, was talked about on BillMoyers.com by an author discussing how people like, I don't know, John Brennan can lie under oath and can just simply get away with it. But you have a situation now. Let me just read you this. When you have Bruce Temazuski, HA, correct. Impossible to appease. Yeah, exactly. Bruce, thank you. It's impossible to appease. Like, I don't understand. At a certain point, look, when you have Jim Jordan as speaker or Devin Nunes, like, I'm not dying for Jim Jordan to be speaker, although I really want him to be speaker. But they have that stupid attack against him, which is ridiculous. But whatever. I think that he should be speaker. But whether it's Jim Jordan, because I like Jim Jordan a lot, but whether it's Jim Jordan or Devin Nunes or Mark Meadows, it doesn't matter. It has to be a Trump Republican. Get a Trump, ensure that there's no regime change, ensure that there's no insane retaliation for coinky dinks. Hint, hint, coinky dink. Gee, that's funny. Why would that happen in that part of the world? Right when Trump says, bring home our soldiers. That's really weird. 95% has one more handler. You get Republicans in Congress. The Democrats, if you thought they were upset with Troy Balderson, could you imagine the unholy outrage? Because they spent 2 years, he's a Russian puppet, he's a traitor, he's a spy, he's a nationalist sympathizer, enabler, every euphemism in the book. Oh my God, Bill Maher, I want a recession. Everyone wants it's the worst thing for them. Oh my God, he's enabling the horrible crazies. And they lost last night. 8 out of 11 special elections. 8 out of 11, according to Ballotpedia. And you have Democrats, if they lose again in the midterms. I mean, it's just unbelievable. They won't stop. Their treachery will know zero bound. They'll have no bounds for the treachery. They'll blame Bernie even more. They'll hate the Green Party. They'll try to make laws banning the Green Party, no doubt. And I have been saying from day one, I have been saying that they are going to lose. They are going to lose the midterms. Bernie and his army are losing 2018. Sanders missed the boat on Ocasio-Cortez, then watched his endorsed candidates fall on Tuesday, a sign that his sway is limited heading into 2020. Yeah, his sway is limited because he didn't fight. The whole thing with Trump was that he was going to fight if he got cheated. The live chat is fantastic. Bernie Sanders is sputtering. This is Politico today. 2 years after his defeat in the 2016 presidential primary, the Vermont senator has amassed a growing string of losses in races in which he has intervened. Beginning last year, Sanders-backed candidate faltered in an Omaha mayoral race and nationally watched House race in Montana. Then came Representative Tom Perillo's loss in Virginia's gubernatorial primary. And in June, the drubbing down of Pete D'Alessandro, a top advisor to Sanders during this campaign Iowa caucus. Kathy Glasson, endorsed by Sanders' successor group, Our Revolution, fell short in Iowa's gubernatorial primary, as did Peter Jacob and Jim Keedy in 2 New Jersey House races. Dennis Kucinich lost in Ohio. Tuesday night brought Sanders and his army their latest blow with a pair of high-profile losses in Michigan and Kansas. Emerging from the 2016 election, Sanders' political prospects appeared to hinge on his ability to sway the Democratic Party's left flank. That is where he made his biggest political miscalculation. You don't sway people who have complete and utter control of power. If you have the keys to everything, if you have complete and utter power, you're not going to be swayed by anyone. You're not going to be swayed by anyone. I stated from the very beginning, you're not going to go ahead and change the Democratic Party from within. Emerging from the 2016 election, Sanders' political prospects appear to hinge on his. Okay, yet in high-profile races on two. Okay, so on Tuesday's the Tuesday election offered the first significant test of Sanders' ability to influence the Democratic primary since June. At this time, he and high-profile help from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, an instant sensation for progressive Democrats since her stunning upset, notably. Okay. Sanders did even worse. Okay, so hold on one second. In a crowded Democratic primary in Kansas, former Sanders campaign staffer Brett Welder said before results were finalized on Tuesday night that his message of bold progressive values and running on an uncorrupted campaign that does not take corporate PAC money is resonating with people across Kansas, echoing Sanders' rhetoric from 2016. Okay, so campaign, he told supporters in his suburban Kansas City district, "We are going to prove that we can win in sending a congressman to Washington who is not corrupted and will stand up to Wall Street and the giant corporations and billionaires that are bullying our politicians." But hours later, the race called for Welder's opponent, Sharice Davids, an attorney who will take on Representative Kevin Yoder in November. The issue has never been only not taking money. The issue is bold ideas that you can kind of get either independence. Thank you, Sean, for this. So this is Jay Sekulow. If my computer ever begins working.
Do you think that the special counsel received the millions of documents and the witness interviews? Because this president, unlike others, has decided that he would be completely transparent in the process.
But Jay, you don't know everything they have. You don't know everything they have.
Of course not.
Obviously.
Of course not.
And that's one of the pitfalls. I mean, I wouldn't put my client in this position to walk into a perjury trap with obstruction of justice. But why would you even give them a narrow opening on obstruction? Is it because, as some lawyers are saying, they'll say no? Because they're not going to want to be limited in their questioning on the obstruction angle, whatever perverse angle they have.
Look, Laura, I've said this. I've been saying this for a year. I'll say it again. My thoughts and my view of the Constitution is they don't have the right to ask any of these questions. And I think that's supported not only by case law in the D.C. Circuit, but also by the structure of the Constitution itself.
Could you imagine if there was an independent inquiry into when Obama knew about Clinton's server? Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if there was a special counsel that actually had people who, with knowledge, like Brian Pagliano or Uma Abedin or Anthony Weiner, to flip and sing? Justin Cooper, all of these on Hillary Clinton, to flip and sing? Could you imagine? It's like, could you imagine all of this? No. It's just unbelievable, because if the shoe were on the other foot, they have every single advantage. They still lose. They just can't stop losing.
Tonight, this legal team is not walking this president into a perjury trap. Not going to happen. If there's any type of interview, whether it's written or otherwise, it will be the appropriate type of response. We're not letting the president walk into a perjury trap. This investigation from its outset, who would allow that in light of everything that's transpired and continues to transpire? So I'm not going to disclose
it's-
the content because you understand. I'm not going to disclose what we told the special counsel. But needless to say, we didn't accept their offer.
And who is this? Who is Mueller to offer anything to begin with? You know, that's what I don't understand. Jay Sekulow is talking. He's Trump's attorney. So he's on Laura Ingraham regarding an offer from Robert Mueller. So here's Jay Sekulow.
Well, let me tell you something. Where do you think that the special counsel received the millions of documents and the witness interviews? Because this president, unlike others, has decided that he would be completely transparent in the
Yeah, but Jay, you don't know everything they have. You don't know everything they have, obviously.
Of course not.
And that's one of the pitfalls. I mean, I wouldn't put my client in this position to walk into a perjury trap with obstruction of justice. But why would you even give them a narrow opening on obstruction? Is it because, as some lawyers are saying, they'll say no? Because they're not going to want to be limited in their questioning on the obstruction angle, whatever perverse angle they have.
Look, Laura, I've said this. I've been saying this for a year. I'll say it again. My thoughts and my view of the Constitution is they don't have the right to ask any of these questions. And
and Alan Dershowitz agrees also. Lots of people agree. Frank! So doggone, well, so kiss him. Go on, kiss him. Goodbye. Nah. Hey, goodbye. He'll never love you the way that I love you. Frank! Thank you, Frank. Yes. That's the thing. That's that's the song. That's Wingless Angel. Mrs. Clinton colluded with 2 white Russians. It probably is 3 white Russians for old Hillary. Yes, Wingless Angel. Wingless Angel, thank you so very much. Yes. Clinton did very likely collude with a whole bunch of white Russians and Kahlua and everything else. Go for it, HA. Get a MAGA hat. And the bot 2007. What happened to fraud probe on Bernie's wife? Well, that I actually tell you the truth. I'm not being like, because I'm a Trump voter now, but I think that whole thing was nonsense. So that was started from an opponent in Vermont regarding the university that like university renovations. This is not like national security. She also collided with the floor. Oh my gosh. Enemy. That's awesome. That's awesome. Collided and colluded. I am not Puerto Rican, but I love the Puerto Rican people. I've had many people in my life very dear to me who are Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican people are awesome. Hopefully Julian Assange will testify. I never said Alex Jones got no. It's not that I said that he never had a long game. What I said was focus on the long game and don't give your opponents. I said 2 things. One, a lot of things that he says that are good. He's a needed voice, just as a foil to the left. Thank you, X. Thank you. But what I say is go long game because you don't want to go ahead and go into the rabbit's hole on things that make no sense. That's all. Don't give your opponent, if you're that big, if you are as big as he was, he had a target. He had a target. And just don't give your opponents, if you have so many political opponents who want your demise, don't give them too many things in terms of, ammo to get to you. So they're now saying Bernie and his army are losing 2018. Either way, Democrats are done, because if it's an establishment Democrat, the Republican can say, look, this is Nancy Pelosi. If it's a Bernie Democrat, they can say, look, this person's way to the left, doesn't want to even bring home soldiers from war, doesn't even talk about that. And then you had also, ladies and gentlemen, a Democrat, let's see. Okay. Where's that Democrat? Hold on a second. So a state senator. Let's see. Is this today? What am I doing? No, I'm looking at something. So then you have the issue of emails show 2016 links among Steele, Orr, Simpson, Russian oligarch. Why is Bruce Orr speaking to Glenn Simpson and especially to Christopher Steele? Doesn't make any sense. No. I don't. Again, I never said. This is the thing. Like, I never said that. Veteran anarchy. Thank you, veteran anarchy. Thank you. People confuse my one tiny critique with not supporting or condemning. I condemn censorship. I never said it's kind of a similar discussion with the whole Q. Well, no, actually not similar. I don't think I did speak truth to power. I don't think I have. My issue is this. My issue is if you have targets on you, if you know that whether it's the platform you're on or whether, don't go down the rabbit hole. But does that mean you should be censored? No, I think that censoring him and anyone is absurd and silly and stupid. And I have a feeling he'll be back. So, and I want him to be back. But I mean, that's, again, like, don't. So veteran anarchy, thank you. Don't confuse my one tiny critique for not, supporting. I do support. And like I said, like, oh my God. Enough. Seriously? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I mean, you have a situation where there are so many things going on. There are so many things going on that And to my uploads, I try to go first 30 minutes, get the most info in. So all right, you know what? Let's see this here. They're losing everything. They're losing everything. It's just fantastic. It's brilliant to watch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's reconvene in a little bit. We'll do another one before the night is over officially. And I will be back in a couple of hours, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very, very, very much. To my super chat, thank you so very much. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be back. I wanted to do one before the official HA After Dark. But thank you so much. I'll be back in, a couple hours or so. Thank you, everyone. And I will see you very soon.